Can you tell us a little bit about your story and where is Klipy at today?
Klipy is a product born in 2024, November, founded by three co-founders, myself and Tina and Joey. We are a post-revenue company and currently in the process of closing our first seed round at the moment.
And you're doing close to 7 figures in revenue, right?
Yes.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of a debrief by Indie Board Session. I'm very excited about my guest today, Jung Kim, currently building Klipy.ai, a sales AI software from Hong Kong. Jung is one of the most deliberate founders I have come across in my 20 years tech career. Klipy is a product that helps salespeople follow up effectively in larger, complex deals with multiple stakeholders and extended timeline. Jung knows it won't be a billion-dollar company, but he also knows there is a bigger than indie-sized company to create in the coming years. So he's taking a hybrid path. He has bootstrapped it, proved product market fit to $1 million in ARR by himself, but he's currently preparing to raise one round to get the business to 10, 20 million in ARR and potentially sell. He realizes there is a window of opportunity. This is not the future of Salesforce that he's building. It's neither a small yet very profitable Shopify marketplace app. And he plans to build a plan to go for it. And what is it? In this traditional dichotomy of indie versus VC-backed startups, and deliberately goes for this middle ground. This is what we will discuss today. I hope you will enjoy this very different conversation with Jung. Today, I'm excited to have Jung Kim with me, calling from Hong Kong. Jung,
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jung Kim, founder of Klipy.
Yeah, so Klipy is your new startup. For the people in the audience that don't know about it, can you tell us a little bit about your story and where is Klipy at today?
Klipy is a product born in 2024, November, founded by three co-founders, myself and Tina and Joey, that are not in the room anymore because it's late evening in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And we originally started as a sort of an alternative CRM that works automatically for smaller businesses. And we gradually started moving into a bit more of a sales execution and enforcement platform. At the moment, we are, I guess, in startup terms, a post-revenue company, and currently in the process of closing our first seed round at the moment. Yeah.
And you're doing close to 7 figures in revenue, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's significant. It's not like a 10K MRR company that's raising out of the gate. So and you did that. And when was the pivot from the SMB CRM to the sales execution platform?
In terms of major pivot, we already had around 11 of them throughout the process. So you could say almost every month there was a pivot.
Okay.
But the way I approach, especially early stage product, is you have an overarching kind of hypothesis of what the problem is and how much that problem is worth to people.
Yeah.
And then you change everything around it, a definition of that people, or your definition of how to measure the pain.
Yeah.
Or how to charge the pain. Actually, the measurement of pain translates to how much price you can charge, and then how to explain that to the people that you're targeting at the moment. So those are the micro pivots that we've been doing. I think the original messaging, like the first version of the messaging, was the automatic CRM. Then we went to finally a simple CRM, and too many things right now. Yeah.
How often actually do you change your homepage hero image and messaging?
I think with the AI, it's actually so cheap to change this now, so there's no excuse not to. So whenever we do the changes, then we set the kind of hypothesis around what we are going to measure and what's the target that we want to see. So that's why it has to happen at least like over like once a month kind of period, because you need at least 3 weeks of data to actually make it relevant.
Okay.
So every time we do pivot, sometimes we don't change the website, but only change the social kind of contents. or we test it through different types of contents, the way we target different messagings and different audience pools. And then we see and then we will have kind of a hypothesis around, hey, if we do this kind of thing on the social media or LinkedIn, then we will see this kind of changes in terms of like inbound traffics. And then we also want to see increases kind of search engine type of organic traffic. So we will set these kind of guidelines and test it. And then we will give it a certain period of time. And then if we don't reach it, then we pivot. Very simple process. Yeah.
And so the pivot is more on the messaging side than on the product side, or does the product follow messaging?
No. So I think if you strip down everything that we have, or in terms of the facade of the messaging, and then also the sub kind of features that we have to put in to complete the process, it's basically formed around digesting all the raw messages from emails, meetings, and messenger platforms, and then turning them into something that can be used for next action. So this kind of like ingestion pipeline is the foundational technology. It's just that we're trying to find out where to place it so that it has the maximum impact. So you can build a hammer and then you can pivot around the hammer a lot. But then the functionality itself or the way it's built is the same, but people can use it differently. And then who are we selling to that will pay us the most is all we do around the pivot. There's no need to change the product too rapidly, especially in the early stage. It just needs to be very purposeful around what you're experimenting and trying to measure. So the product itself followed the natural product development life cycle of receiving feedback and adjusting to it. But then sometimes, I guess some of the features that are in the backlog has been dropped based on the pivots, especially if that was a major kind of segment pivot, then we no longer support the backlog items that are in the older segment that we do not support anymore. So that's the only thing, but we wouldn't go back and rip the product apart. And change it, yeah.
And do you have customers that were using the earlier version of a product that you fired basically because they're not using the newer one, or?
They naturally churn, especially in early stages. It's basically small and medium businesses, so they will just silently churn, and then that's fine because we keep going for new acquisitions to get new data points. But there hasn't been a very strong push to like intentionally churn the users. It's just that they naturally kind of fade away. Yep.
So you're building Klipy, which is a software used by mostly larger companies that have, at least companies that have longer sales cycles.
Yep.
And you're you're at $1 million ARR roughly with a 3 people team, right? It's only a 3 of you still?
Yes.
In a pretty crowded sales tech market. From your perspective, what's impressive here and what do you think is just normal execution?
In terms of our product or the market itself?
In terms of your ability to get through these 11 pivots to where you are with a pretty small team.
I would say, one of the things that we wanted to try as a team when we put the team together and then had our first meeting, first thing we aligned on the vision, and second was like what kind of challenges we want to take with this team. So we didn't decide to do bootstrapping before we put the team and align the vision. There was an idea that we can try to do a bootstrap and create an extremely lean team, because I believed that the way the AI was developing could be used in especially the founders' kind of daily operational tasks very well, especially for early stage startups. So just a little bit on the historical background is that I originally come from model development field. I've been quite closely knit with all the theories and also the applications of developing an AI model. So I am no longer an expert on it, but I do understand the concept and I've been seeing the progression of the AI. So I think understanding this tech was the lucky part that allowed us to get to this place. And second is that I did multiple exits before, so I understand what kind of operations and processes are needed and in which stage of the business. It's just that I know how it should look like, but I always try to create an AI system to make it happen instead. So it was a constant battle of this and then making it happen, and then it breaks, and then it becomes frustrating, and then should we hire? Then I just go back to engineer mode and then try to fix the system, and then somehow it works. Then we just keep it there. Just like how you would do with hiring, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, when you talk about it, it feels like it. And so I didn't plan to get there initially, but since we are in front of it, let's go. How do you use AI beyond coding AI within your company? Like, how did it allow you to get to where you are with just 3 people?
If you have 10 things you have to do, then the founder's job is to find the 2 things that's going to make the most impact, right?
Yeah.
Because if you try to spread yourself across all 10 tasks, then you will basically achieve nothing. What AI basically enables you to do is to do 4 instead of 2 at the same time of doing 2 of them. So then if you put the priorities, then if you the major parts that we actually use is on the feedback collection and understanding the customer support, because customer support is the ultimate experience you can give for early stage startup. Early stage companies, products will never be able to fulfill the functional requirements, the entire functional requirement of the users, and also the diversity of the experience you can give. But what you can give is the kind of a tight touch point between the creator and the user itself. So bridging this gap is very important, but it's extremely time consuming. So that's the very heavy part that we used was this. And as reasoning models develop, I think a lot of the times we used AI to do framework-based brainstorming and analyzing the same situation or the topic using multiple frameworks. So this helps us think in different angles to make the best decision. And I would probably say the AI, whatever we use, is still a statistical model, and it's just going to give you the best fit kind of sequence of words for whatever you ask. Framing it and then kind of digesting large amount of text, things like the user feedbacks over the last 3 months, and digesting it and figuring out the top priority task or the product feature from it. These can be done with AI, which used to take weeks. So we're just trying to crunch these kind of things. When it comes down to interfacing with humans directly, like on the content level or the sales emails, these are not replaced by AI. This needs to be done by the founders directly, because if you lose touch with this, then your business will be lost at the same time. So,
and how do you do customer success in your case, since you're dealing with large enterprises?
Even though we say larger enterprises, these are still on a POC scope. Okay. So the touch point itself is not the like ginormous yet. And this is partially why we also went into the fundraising and VC back mode now after approving an early PMF, because we understand that enterprise accounts are extremely crucial for SaaS in general. It is a natural course of like a SaaS lifecycle. Eventually you become the servicing enterprise to create like very long running accounts that are extremely sticky. So we're just getting there faster than we originally expected. And that also means then we need a immediate cash kind of generation, which is why we're in a financing round right now. So once that's done, then we will be creating an operational structure for this so that we can expand the POC into an actual full-blown kind of deployment. Yeah.
And so let me step back before we go back diving into Klipy, because in your case, you ran sales. I mean, your previous startup was selling large deals to retailers in Asia, if I remember. And you had a very large sales team in a 400 people company. And you mentioned last time when we were preparing for this podcast, you told me that what you saw in that company led to the specific pain that led you to create Klipy. And yet when you mentioned it today, you said that you wanted to build a CRM that was for SMBs. So walk me through the real origin story and journey that led you through the hoops to go to where you are?
I'm not creating anything out of like a thin air, right? So we did mention about the sales teams. I mean, I built sales teams that are sizable, not to an enterprise grade, but afterwards, I also spent years sort of working as an enterprise architect and integration architect for different enterprises. So here we can actually see how CRM is implemented already, or more about like mal-configured inside different enterprises and how it works within like human organizations as well. So recurring pattern around this is like humans are not really built, like not many people are built to think like a computer because we're humans. And a lot of enterprise tools are built for people who think like a computer. That's why you hire specific people to administer it and manage data, and then put operation layers on top of operational layers around it to enforce it, right? So I think key thing is you can buy the most expensive and most sophisticated system in the world, but people still won't use it properly. And if you replicate it across the whole organization, it becomes a different issue from the original issue that made you buy that tool. So if you just bring it down to sales, basically, just understanding the people that are in this field a little bit is basically sales is a extremely interpersonal area, which means there's a lot of emotions and then also instinctive movements that you have to use to actually perform the task. And another general trait of salespeople is that they are more disobedient generally compared to operations. First, because they are the ones that actually drives the revenue. And second, they do, I mean, a lot of the salespeople that I work with or myself itself when I was doing sales was also the same thing. Is I like the freedom to go outside of the office and then say I'm meeting a client, but then actually I'm meeting a friend and then charging it to the company. I mean, that's the luxury of being a sales, right? So they're naturally disobedient in a way, and but then they're a very crucial role inside the company. And the company, in order to drive commercial directions, you need to understand what is exactly happening inside every step of the sales process to be able to forecast and then reallocate resources to make more revenue in the future. And then there's the gap is salespeople will not have time nor motivation to put this information into the CRM in a full format. Even if you force them to do band framework, medic framework, whatever framework you try to enforce them and then yell at them 10,000 times, it's still not going to be a complete record. And then that's where everything kind of becomes more statistical. And then there's nothing wrong with this, but then it's just that there's a better way to do this, especially when you go to a smaller organizations that can't afford to have extra operations to make this happen. And oftentimes you end up seeing a lot of like business owners buy HubSpot and then like tell people to use it. And then they think that people will use it. And then 1 year later, there's nothing inside. So you just terminate the contract because the renewal is back. And we wanted to solve this problem first. So when we started this, even though we started as an automatic CRM, because we thought this was the root problem, that solving the problem of having people logging things into CRM properly would solve the rest, was our original hypothesis. Because better data means you can forecast better, you can plan better, you can strategize better, and then you can also manage people better because there is a record. So you can do evidence-based leadership. And everything comes from logging things properly. So we delved into this area. This messaging and focus was actually very upside down. So small companies, medium companies, large companies, they all have this same problem of not having the best, cleanest data set to work on. And small and medium businesses are more willing to try these kind of solution then their price doesn't match. Their expected price doesn't match the cost of the technology itself. Then when you go to enterprise, the same thing happens on the enterprise as well, because Just cost of hiring a labor to handle this is cheaper than acquiring a new system and re-educating the entire organization.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
means there's no market for this, right? But this is more like a hindsight because we figured this out along the way. And then we tried different pivots to keep pushing this automatic CRM concept for a very long time, around 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
We even went to AppSumo and then did lifetime deal promotion
Okay.
with this messaging as well, which is where a lot of our current loyal users come from.
Okay.
But we drove through them and then we started understanding their processes and problems a little bit deeper and realized that first, the reason why you are looking for solution to log everything down is because your execution needs to be improved. But huge part of the execution improvement comes from actually getting it executed on time. So it's a time issue. So that's why we basically went one step forward and then basically kept the auto logging system. But then we started suggesting next actions and drafts instead so that you can send the drafts instead of thinking about it. And then you will also have the to-do items created instead of you thinking that you have to remember to do it. So when this behavioral hypothesis was actually proven because it was starting to work pretty well for our users, then we did the kind of full flip on the messaging, and then the product direction started focusing more on these next steps. And then now we do things like we have sort of fine-tuned models trained on Sandler's, Medic, MedPick, Band, Challenger sales, so that these kind of agents can be used for different conversation threads. And then now the next actions are not just about keeping promises, but also pushing stale deals forward.
And so your product is adaptable to the different sales framework?
Yes, and different situations. And then we're continuously working on pushing this. So then the original hypothesis is still the same, like how to improve sales, how to improve conversion rate.
Yeah.
So we are always focusing a lot more on closing, on upselling, so post-qualification flow of the sales.
Yeah.
I am not interested in lead generation. I think it's still better to hire an agent to do it than get a tool for it. So overall, like even though the messaging changed throughout the process, the whole purpose was still the same. How do we make sure salespeople can execute sales better and close deals a little bit better? And that's all I cared about when I was working on building the sales team. It was all I cared about when I was doing sales. That's all I cared about when I worked for other companies' sales teams. That's how it all leads to the same kind of overarching hypothesis that we had, that AI could be used to make this happen, because I want to automate a certain part of that 80% that every salesperson has.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when you look at when you started the company, how did you decide that this problem was big enough for you to bet this company on the sales execution side? But it was not just a feature, but it was something that was a real thing.
So I would probably just explain it very simplistically, because I'm not a oracle, so I didn't predict the future or anything like that. There are a few guiding kind of sentences I would use, is that every business wants to make more money without spending more money. That's the first thing. So it is based on the basic instinct of human beings, greed.
Yeah.
Right? And second is because I have seen it with my own eyes inside these organizations and my own kind of company building process as well. Normally, so alternative kind of solution to this is to fire the ones that doesn't convert and try to hire a better salesperson and keep trying until you have better conversion. That's how we have been solving this problem. You could also kind of play around with incentives and all these stuffs, but essentially it's not like a kind of solution for a root cause we're talking about, right?
Okay.
So I think that's the second one. And the third one is if you're doing B2B kind of software itself, there's basically two categories that I see. either you really help the company make more money or you help the company cut costs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very different from like a consumer applications, because consumer application has a lot of different motivators, but businesses only have two motivators: make more revenue or cut cost. So if you go into cutting cost route, which is mostly like productivity applications, there is a very sharp cap on how much you can sell to the same account. So the long-term lifetime value possibility is limited because you cannot cut costs below zero.
Yeah.
But if it's related to revenue, then it does go almost infinitely, because then the business grows and you need more. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's more like a meta structure. And so what is the technology, like an angle that you can apply technology into, especially it was an early stage technology as well, right? Because even in 2024, we're talking about, we were having GPT 2.5 or something like that around that time, GPT 2 or something.
Yeah.
So it was very early stage where you cannot really reliably use it for anything proper. And so we use it for summarization, right? So, but we knew that this is a wave that you have. Every IT super cycles are come in as a wave. And then you will have those early adopter wave where there's a lot of very cringy and weird application of the new technology comes in while the technology is still developing.
Yeah.
And then after that wave, then we start coming into the maturity stage. The market starts maturing afterwards. Then the first wave of it is sales, always, because I only focus on B2B. Companies always want to apply this to sales first because that's the most revenue impacting area. Then gradually you will probably expand it into marketing. So marketing and sales will be the first ones. Then you will start having it a little bit more on operations, potentially cost controlling measures around supply chain and finance, legal processes. So this wave was similar on almost every different IT cycles, like cloud, mobile, early stage machine learning, everything. So I also kind of saw this from my previous works because I already wrote two waves, which is cloud and machine learning.
Yeah.
So this is the third wave coming in. So I also know that the sales is the right timing to do it. It's so when we create the company with my co-founders, we actually didn't have a product in mind at all. We just put the team together because these were people that I met throughout my previous works, and then I knew we can kind of create a team and a company with these people. So we put the team together, then started thinking about what to build. We had a lot of ideas, e-commerce, or more like a gifting solution was also on the table. Then I said, hey, like considering the stage and what we know we can execute very well, let's go for B2B sales. So we just went from there, and then we go through our kind of previous experiences and brainstorm, and then came up with this product.
And so at the beginning of our discussion, you mentioned, so you started this company, you had these different pivots. At what point, but you still mentioned a few minutes ago that you know that you have product market fit.
I think clear thing is traffic, right? Traffic is the easiest one to see. And then the traffic's conversion rate as well.
Okay.
So I think that means what's the quality of the traffic? So how well is the funnel working? And then in the early stage, we will focus a lot more on these converted leads, how much value they're getting and how much measurable value we can find in their actual applications. So there are metrics such as like a daily active user over monthly active user rate.
Yeah.
And then also the daily kind of like a feature utilization rate. And because we're using AI products, so there's another metric we use is the acceptance rate and the consumption rate of the AI suggestions we're creating.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
then there are, So we look at the value that the customers get.
In terms of that traffic, where is that traffic coming from? Do you use paid traffic? Did you use, obviously you didn't have too much SEO at the beginning. Like, how did you get people to come to your website after when you were 3 or 4 months in?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn post. So you were posting?
Yeah, social media. I think it's an inevitable channel now.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't have to be LinkedIn. It just needs to be one channel because we're not talking about constantly hitting 1 million, few million views. It's you just need to go viral once in a while to keep your name out there, but then you just need to be present like every day in there. In terms of the quality of conversion and the way algorithm works is that algorithm will match the people that is more likely to engage with your post, which means they're closer to being qualified leads.
Yeah.
So if you think about the time ROI, all the other channels doesn't really make sense if you are a very extremely lean team. So we actually did the SEO using AI instead because we knew how to analyze the SEO metrics and then create keyword plans. So we just used that. So I think SEO was around 15 to 20% of the traffic, but the conversion rate was lower than social media. So then we doubled down on social media and started doing that instead. And based on the experience, I think it's still the best kind of channel for early stage founders.
And so you post in your name, you post in your company's name?
In my name.
In your name. And you post solely about talking about the problem that salespeople are facing? No?
No. I think like super early stage product is, if I put it in a like harsh way, is early stage product is crap. So people don't come to you because your product is so amazing. Because when people buy a product, they're not just buying some buttons and forms they can fill in and get something out of. They're trying to find a solution to an actual problem they have in life, right? So it needs to be the founder that you are selling. They need to want to work with you, to trust you that you will eventually build the ideal solution they have in their mind, and then something they can use now so that they're comfortable paying for. So what you're really selling is yourself. If you're afraid to sell and then hide behind the product, that actually becomes a problem. Yeah. So I will talk about why we're building this, why we're building it this way. What happened in the past that made me want to build something we're talking about. Basically, all got shared in the format of social media posts. Just what happens. People like drama as well. And then if they like you, then it's very difficult for them to hate your product as well. Yeah.
Okay. And so the distribution moves that worked were really social media.
Social media, then once you have some critical mass, then you start utilizing referrals, then and then potentially affiliate program. But right now we don't do affiliate program because we don't have the capacity to manage the affiliates right now.
Yeah.
So we focus more on referrals and still focus on social media. Now I started doing more direct sales because we're trying to develop more enterprise POCs. This requires direct sales. But it's not through cold outreach. It's just through my own network before.
And in terms of the referrals, how do you create these flywheel? Like, do you incentivize them? How are you making sure that your customers are talking about you on their own Volution?
I mean, that's probably why I focus more on like measuring customer value. And then if there is a very high value experiencing users, then you can talk to them and then build like stronger kind of personal relationships with them. We didn't really approach this very systemically. To be honest, we have to do this much better with a more low touch approach. But then I went to a super high touch. Basically, I talked to them enough so that I can talk to them on WhatsApp. And then some of them, I used to talk to them almost on a daily basis. Then it's not really about them referring a product to their friend. It's just referring a friend to another friend. It's very human process, but that's how it actually works.
And so the referral is more about, hey, do you know anybody who would be interested in using the product? Or is it, hey, would you mind writing a LinkedIn post about you using Klipy? Like what's...
No, I don't ask them to do it. They just know someone in the network they know have the same problem or would benefit from a solution that they're experiencing. So they just tell them to sign up. And then there will be a group chat. It's like, hey, I'm trying to onboard him to Klipy as well. Can you help? And then I onboard him.
Okay.
No incentivization in here.
I mean, since you've been so deliberate and in how you did get to where you are, I'm curious if tomorrow Klipy was seized away and you couldn't do it, you had to start again and had to go get back to 1 million in ARR in a year or two, like you did. What's the sequence of steps that you'd repeat from what you have done so far?
I guess I wouldn't go too technical into this because there's nothing technical about it. I think there is a notion, like especially for tech, something related to creating a product market fit, but actually business building is all the same. It's the same principle has been existing for thousands of years.
Yeah.
You basically find the market that you can sell to well, and then create an offering that solves problems that actually people have and is willing to pay for. And you build relationship with people and then expand through there. So I would probably, whatever product I end up building, I would look for sort of a systemic problem that I know I can fix, because my principle for B2B, especially tech, is you need to find the boring problem that nobody's really focusing on, that businesses will gladly pay to get rid of. So for example, like what we're really solving is, I always joke about it, it's like we removed the problem of, oh shit, I forgot to respond to him 2 weeks ago. It happens a lot, and it's a stupid and boring problem, but it does impact revenue. And then if I tell businesses that I can get this go away completely, and then that will help you close more deals, then it's like, okay, let's try. So I will find something like this again. It might not be sales, but I will definitely not do productivity, because it's a very complex area. So sales is very straightforward. It's very formulaic, systemic. I like doing this area, but another areas that I would look into would be supply chain. Yeah, and I will find something, and then I will work until I can find enough people that are close with me and then believes in the value of the solution. Then we will expand from there again. So it's always the same. It's like opening a bakery. Same thing.
You need good bread. Okay, so we've talked about your journey so far and your decision to bootstrap initially to profitability and 1 million in ARR. So I assume that you could still slow roll even some of the POCs with enterprise customers with your current cash flow. Mm-hmm. So why raise at all instead of just hiring slowly out of this cash flow? I
think basically I talked about like business itself, right? So every business has it's like an organism. It will have life cycle and it has a lifespan as well. It's not because anything is wrong. It's just if you run and repeat the same thing over and over for years, and at some point you just lose motivation to do it. So it's partially why I do startups as well, because that means I can keep having new challenges that I've never dealt with before. Yeah. Like selling to US from Hong Kong was a new challenge for me. But even so, it will become repeating at some point. So my previous exits were through M&A because I wanted to exit and do a completely new product as well. And the reason why I mentioned this is whenever you build a business, you will have to think about how you're going to exit. And then the exit doesn't always mean selling off. There are people who are okay and happy just basically mastering the skill set and the solution that you're providing, and then building a lifelong plan on it as well. So that's also fine. That's an exit strategy. Do you want to inherit it to your child? That's also an exit strategy, right? You're building generational wealth. And you could also sell the business. You could also list it publicly, or you could go bankrupt as well. Yeah, many ways to exit. I don't think anyone likes to choose the last one as a goal, but you should still have some kind of concept of where you want to go at the end, because this is a very long journey and it's going to be a very painful journey, right? So if you think about running a marathon, but you have no goal or when to stop it, it's very dangerous. So having a goal doesn't mean you have to exactly land exactly where you plan to, but having a direction and then know when it will end is very important, because business building is an extremely painful process, which has a very large reward. Yeah. Right? So
when you look at, so in a way, what you're saying, what I understand from what you're saying is that it's about momentum. You feel that you could slow roll this thing, but there's momentum. You have an opportunity. If the opportunity is large enough for you to raise a reasonable round, how much are you raising? 3 million, 5 million?
Oh, it's a 3 million.
Yeah. So it's small enough that it doesn't require your exit to be 100 million or 200 million. I mean, obviously, if you have 200 million exit, you're happy, but it doesn't require it. You can still have enough agency in how you get to your exit.
I think always the exit strategy was M&A. Exit was from the beginning. And then this is one of the things we aligned on our first meeting as a team as well, is to rule out IPO as an exit strategy. And then also, we all also ruled out like perpetual operation as an exit strategy as well. The team has a kind of a unified vision on using the exit money to turn ourselves into a venture capital itself, and then helping other founders. So that's the ultimate goal that we're trying to get to. And for that, then we need to find the route. So we have the goal now. We have to exit through merge and acquisition, but we just didn't know what timing, right? And then that's why we bootstrapped, not because we wanted to bootstrap and then run it without losing control. It's more about because we're in a turbulent market that is immature. If you try to raise at that moment, then you will actually get discounted too much. So then it is better kind of risk benefit ratio wise. It's better to bootstrap and burn our own cash, keep things lean, and then get to a point where we have a PMF when the market starts maturing. So that was the strategy. That just period is we accelerated fast, and then the market's accelerating super fast as well. I also didn't expect this level of LLM development within just a period of 18 months. Like it went from A to pretty much like Q right now, right? We got fortunate, but having a goal was the first thing. The goal was M&A, and then the best route to get to that M&A without diluting overly was to bootstrap in the beginning. So that was why, yeah.
Okay. If an indie founder listening is at, let's just say, 20, 30K MRR or 50K MRR, and is asking themselves, listening to you, oh, maybe I should be raising. What questions should they actually ask themselves before even opening Gamma or Google Slides and putting together a deck?
Actually, what I would say is try to put it together into a deck first and see if it makes any sense. And to be honest, nothing is right or wrong until it's proven to be wrong. So I would definitely say, like, don't say fundraising is bad. At least try and prove to yourself that it was wrong for you then. Because investment is not about getting cash. Actually, someone is joining your team with a similar power as you to dictate where the business is going at the price of cash. That's how I look at investment. It's a partnership.
Yep.
Right? So you need to find not just the cash. You're looking for a person that can help you do things that you can't do. And then part of that thing that you can't do is to have that much cash. Right? Because nobody sits with millions of cash at home. But then you will look for other traits that can help you in the future. For example, like right now, like one of the focus we have on screening and selecting investor is this investor able to join the Series A as well and find co-investors and convince them together with us, right? Especially because we want to tap more further into United States. That means they need to already have a syndicate network inside United States that they can tap into. This is something that I don't have. I only have network with investors in South and East Asia right now.
Yeah.
So this is what I am buying by giving them equity and getting cash, right?
I see.
So this is how I think. So I think they should try. They should pitch to see what kind of feedback you get. Because eventually what you're building is not just the product, you're building a business and then you're trying to create something that continuously prints cash for you. so that you can live, right? So product cannot be used to print cash. That would be illegal. Business is the only way to print cash on your own. So when you think of it as like, I am building a business, and then that means like at some point, it all leads to the same kind of trace. If you want to build a cash printing machine that doesn't require you to be always there to print cash yourself, then you need to hire, and then you need to have growth because you need to continuously keep paying them higher salary because salary needs to go up. That means you need to continuously grow. Then there are moments that are strategically very important where you need to really salvage this moment to grow. That's where you create financing event. So you fundraise or you borrow money. So this is just the regular kind of like a mindset if you think of it as a business administration instead of just looking at the product. So for me, the question is it feels odd for me, but I also was exactly thinking this way just 10 years ago, right? Because I am an engineer by heart. I started as an engineer. I love product. I'm very focused on product, but then I also, through the period, I learned this. And then, so the advice would be to just pitch, see what they say, because you will need this skill at some point anyways. Even if you want to borrow money from bank, you need to still do bank pitch as well.
You were saying treating the business itself as a product in a way.
Yeah.
So what does it mean for you concretely day to day? Walk us through a few examples in the last few months or last few weeks. Founder can listen to and take away as, I didn't think about that.
I mean, assuming that there is a complete like financial literacy.
Sure.
Right. If that's not there, then it's a big problem as well. But then if you were doing tech and if you understand like computers, then accounting is pretty easy for them because it's just a spreadsheet. But if you understand it, then you will start looking at ways to cut costs and make your company more effective in terms of creating cash. And then you would also try to find ways to increase the ability to create additional cash. And then you will start thinking in terms of ROI for everything, right? Getting to the stage where you can start thinking about ROI takes a very long time though. In the early stage, you're just talking about paying bills. So, and then looking at cost, and then you look at your credit card bill, and then you try to open dispute and stuff like that, and then get upset with Stripe's increase of dispute bills and stuff. But at some point, then you start thinking, okay, just think like, okay, what is this number? What are all these numbers going to look like in just 1 year time? Then you think about it in 2 year time, 3 year time, and this activity has to happen on a monthly basis. If you put the number down and then do forecasting based on that, then what you actually become is that you become very objective. And then most of the times what I end up is like, I don't like this number. If I'm still making $1 million in 5 years, that's a problem. How do I make this shorter? How do I make this 5 times? Then you start thinking this way. Then right now I'm selling to SMBs, automatic CRM. If I keep going in this way, I'm going to end up like this in 5 years. What is the best way to change this course? And then if you start looking into how to increase this, then you start seeing other opportunities. And sometimes these opportunities so large that you can convince someone else to chip in money to salvage this together. So that's when you start thinking about fundraising. So that happened for us, which is why we're fundraising. Other things are, I also keep thinking about what kind of team, how would my interaction with my imaginary team would look like in 2-3 years down the road as well. Like what kind of person do I have to be? What kind of things should I be saying? And then am I thinking about things that I should be thinking like now as well. So keep thinking about the future. You basically live today, and then concerned about being surviving tomorrow, but you still need to keep thinking about 10 years. Like that's your job, right? But then sometimes 10 years too long, then do 5 years. I mean, if you can't even imagine and put 5 years down, or maybe 5 years too long, then 2 years, and then you can numerically see it in finances, then it's a very dangerous area to be in general. Yeah.
As before we wrap up, I have a few questions that I often ask my guests. So one more personal one, but we'll do that next. Maybe we'll start with what's the contrarian view you have about AI today?
I guess something that I really truly believe in and I say in public would be good. So AI will never replace judges, lawyers, accountants, and management consultants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Because who's going to jail?
Yeah, but
Because that's their job. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think the same way. I think that people underestimate the importance of agency.
Yeah.
And the fact that our job is not to only do the job, our job is to do our job and have agency about it.
Yeah. So their values come from the reliability, like a responsibility behind it as well.
Yeah.
So you cannot replace this with AI. Yeah. So sorry for people who are working on it, but like seriously, who's going to go to jail?
Yeah, and the software company will not want to go to jail.
No.
My second question, which is, what's one important thing that you've learned from your mother?
My mother.
Yeah.
My mother was very important in terms of learning. And, but I think one thing that I was strongly guided by her was that there's no reward without responsibility. So when you receive something, there's always a responsibility. So I think that protected me from getting scammed, which is a very important skill for running business.
There's no free lunch.
Pretty much, yeah.
Cool. Well, Jung, thank you very much. Thank you for this time. Mm-hmm. I said you were the deliberate founder, and this hour didn't disappoint. So thank you again, and all the best with your fundraising. And people can follow you on which platform are you the most active? Is it LinkedIn? Is it X? LinkedIn.
Yeah. I am not good at provoking rage. I don't find it very comfortable. So I would rather just talk dumb stuff.
Yeah. So people can follow you on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and all the best, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year for you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.